Hey class, all right, so we are in week 2 here in advertising 403. I hope you had a great week last week. This week, we're going to start to delve into media planning, and I'm going to explain how this is going to impact and what you'll be developing for your final project. All right, so if you go on to eCampus, and we're in Unit 2 here, so this is the Unit 2 assignment, all right. So basically what we're doing this week is we're talking about media planning, and we're going to look at the different forms of research that kind of feed into that. You're going to learn about primary and secondary research, how the planning process works, and then also what the format of this media plan is going to be. Because each of these modules, are going to lead up to and create a section of your final media plan. Okay, so as you look through this, those are your readings. Okay, and there are a couple of links here, so make sure you click on those and read that. All right, no discussion question this week. This is the writing assignment week. Okay, so for the final project, you get to choose one of these products for your final project. Okay, so there are 5 different smart speakers here. We're all going to look at the smart speaker industry, and you can choose the one that interests you most. All right, so there's a link there to that actual product. Okay, and then I'll let you read through some of the details of this. But it talks about different information and how you're going to build this plan. And then there are a couple of links here to some databases that you have access to get this information. Okay, but there's more than that. There's these databases. You can also find information online. And then I would encourage you to try to find some trade publications. Maybe there's some newsletters or something within this industry, or that you can find on your client's website, or so on and so forth. So just be creative about how you find this information. Okay, so here is the media plan format. Okay, so this is the outline for what your final project is going to look like. Now, we are going to be working this week on section 1, which is the situation analysis. All right, so, and this is business writing. So you are writing a paper, but don't use first person. Like, I found this in the Wall Street Journal, right? You want to say, like, the Wall Street Journal reports that, right? So, again, this is business writing. Use headers and subheads to break up this information. So what I'm expecting to see is a paper where you have, this is your situation analysis. So, that's the topic of this paper. And then you have these different sections, right? So you have the macro environment. Then you have a header that says market situation, competitive analysis. Then you have a section that says consumer, right? And then you just answer those questions, just go through the bullet points and provide that information, okay? And work through this, okay? And then what I have here is I have what we're also going to be covering in the upcoming units, right? Just so you have an idea overall of what this plan is going to look like, right? So right now we're just working on the situation analysis, right? But in unit 4, we're going to talk about the target audience. Okay, so if you go back up here and you see that the consumer information is 1.3 here, consumer information, demographics, psychographics, again, this is the information I'm looking for. This is more top line. Okay, so this is a summary, right? The situation analysis is a brief snapshot of what's going on with the client, your brand, within that industry, right? Pretend like I don't know anything about the smart speaker industry or your brand, the one that you're working on, right? So this is information you're going to provide to me that just gives me an overview, right? A situation analysis, and analysis of what's going on in your company's category right now. Okay, so that's because, so again, some just general demographic, psychographic information, and those other bullet points, trends, what's going on, because then in unit 4, the whole paper is going to be focused on the target audience. Then we're really going to delve into more about who your audience is, right? And then in unit 8, we're going to talk about media objectives. What kind of vehicles are you going to use, and so on. Okay, and then again, I'll just let you read through these, but this is, again, the makeup of the whole plan. So we're not doing every unit and every section here this week. This is just for the situation analysis. Okay, so when you're writing your paper, okay, please read through this. Okay, so The assignment is for 4 to 6 pages, and you're going to need that to get through, the information here that we've outlined. Okay. So, less than that, let's say a 2-page submission is not going to score as high. So I'm looking to 4 to 6 pages. Okay. And then use these formatting guidelines. Okay. So it should be 12-point type, Times New Roman. Okay. Spacing is single spaced, right? So 4 to 6 pages, single spaced. But again, use those headers so it's easy to pick out the information. And when one section starts and ends, and then the next one starts, all right. 1-inch margins. Okay. Have your name and the assignment number on the header of the top of each page. Okay. And then, like I said, write in business style communication. So not first person, but in business style. Now, there is some information here. You can click on that for some APA basics. So that should be the format of this paper when you are doing citations and that sort of thing. And you do need citations. So read through that. You can do in text, or you can have some references at the end, right? If you're doing in text, it's very simple, according to Wall Street Journal 2024, and then whatever it is, or you can state that information, then in parentheses, Washington Journal, 2024, right? Or you can put stuff at the end, but make sure that I can reference information that you've put in there and I can see where you got that. Okay. So that is what's going on this week. And again, we're just focusing on the situation analysis, but go back and look at the objectives here and do the readings first. So you have that information. So do the readings first, then read through the lesson. Okay, there is additional information here that you'll want to read through. Okay, and there are some videos, and just delves a little bit more into some of the sections that you're going to work on for the situation analysis. Okay. All right, so that is what's going on this week, and you know my expectations. And if you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I'll be eager to look at your papers into this week. All right, you have a good day. Bye-bye.